At my promotion party, I noticed something was off. The banner hanging above the fireplace didn't say "Cheers to you, Daniel." It said, "Congrats on your engagement, Jenna and Matt." I stood frozen, champagne glass halfway to my lips. The room had erupted in applause, cheers, whistles, claps echoing through the rooftop venue I had paid for, but not for me, not for the promotion I had bled 3 years for, not for the night I had spent weeks planning, down to the last goldfoil detail. No. They were celebrating her. There was Jenna, in the center of it all, glowing like a bride-to-be straight out of a lifestyle magazine, her hand in Matt's, a knife in the other, cutting the cake I had picked up that morning, the one I had designed and paid for. The same cake that was supposed to say, "Cheers to you, Daniel." I blinked, once, twice. She looked up, caught my eye, and smiled. That smile, like she had done nothing wrong. Then came the voice I knew too well, low, smug, unbothered. "Your little work thing wasn't that important," Dad said behind me. "This is real news." The glass nearly slipped from my hand. I scanned the room. People were snapping photos, raising glasses to Jenna and Matt. My coworkers stood awkwardly off to the side. Some looked at me like they weren't even sure why they were there anymore. I turned. Dad was already striding toward the bar, nursing a drink like he owned the place. Mom clapped along with the crowd like she hadn't spent the last week helping me plan the entire event. And that's when something broke. I walked straight to the DJ and took the mic without a word. Jenna kept smiling, still posing with Matt, the knife still in her hand, a perfect picture. I tapped the mic. Silence rippled across the room. All eyes turned. Dad chuckled. "Come on, don't be bitter, Danny, let your sister have her moment." I brought the mic to my lips, my hands were shaking. But my voice? Steady. "I see. Then you won't mind what happens next." He stared, confused, then smirked. He didn't believe me. But the next day, they did. By noon, I had 52 missed calls. Jenna was sobbing. Mom was screaming. And Dad was begging me to turn the power back on. But then you know what? I should have seen it coming. This wasn't just one night. This was the final straw in a lifetime of being second place. Of being the backup plan, the bank, the afterthought. Let me take you back. 3 years ago, I landed a job at Cobalt Tech, huge promotion, big step. Not one of them congratulated me. But when Jenna got hired as a part-time wedding assistant? Mom cried. Dad popped champagne. And me? I bought the bottle. I invited them to my housewarming. They never showed. Still, I sent money when Dad couldn't make the mortgage on a house I didn't live in. I wired cash when Mom's car broke down, only to see her online 2 weeks later, smiling with a new designer handbag. Jenna's handbag. Then came Jenna's engagement. Matt didn't even get her a ring. She called me crying, "I just want to feel special for once." So I made it happen. Booked them a 5-star dinner, paid for her hair, her makeup, even arranged for a surprise mini engagement cake at the end of the meal. She posted all of it on Instagram with the caption, "Matt really knows how to spoil me." Not a single mention of me. Still, I kept trying. Because when you grow up the forgotten one, you learn to bleed quietly. You learn to buy your place at the table. Even if it means setting yourself on fire to keep them warm. So when I got promoted to senior project manager, a real title, a real moment, I decided, finally, to throw a party for myself. And they took it from me. But this time, I took something back. I sacrificed everything to get here. One single night to celebrate, just one. I booked the rooftop venue, sent out the invites, hired the caterers, designed the cake. Jenna asked if she could help decorate. I thought, maybe, finally, this is it. Maybe we'll have one normal moment as siblings. But the decorations she picked, they weren't for me. She hijacked the entire event. Later, I found out, the invitations I sent to the family, she created new ones. Custom engagement invites with her and Matt's names. She even sent them to my coworkers. I didn't know, I trusted her with the guest list. I trusted her with my night. But that wasn't the worst of it. The cake I ordered, the one I'd paid for, she changed it, took my name off, added hers and Matt's, even asked the baker to make it more romantic. And Dad? Of course, he knew. When I confronted him later that night, he looked me dead in the eye and said, "Come on, Dan, no one cares about promotions. It's not like you're saving lives. Jenna's getting married, that's a real milestone. I couldn't breathe. Something cracked inside me, deep in my chest. All those years, all those sacrifices. The $3,000 I sent to Dad for the mortgage, it went to a surprise weekend getaway for Mom and Jenna. The car I paid to fix, they sold it and pocketed the cash. Mom admitted it during a wine buzz, laughing like it was cute. You were working so much, sweetheart, we figured you wouldn't notice. The same old lines. It's family, Daniel. You're the successful one, you can afford it. You're not married, no kids, what do you even need money for? I once asked for a loan back, just $500 to cover moving expenses. Dad scoffed, you make six figures, you don't need help, that's selfish, son, selfish. That word haunted me, it followed me like a curse. I didn't say anything that night, not during the fake celebration. Not when Jenna kissed Matt in front of my cake. Not when Dad smirked like he'd pulled off some grandmaster stroke. But inside, something broke. Something changed. Because I'd finally seen it. I wasn't part of the family. I was the resource. And they thought I'd never stop giving. They were wrong. I left the venue early, got into my car, sat there in silence, the city lights blurring through my windshield. And then I made a decision. The party might have been stolen, but the power, the money, the house, those were mine. And if they thought I wouldn't flip the script, they were about to learn the hard way. I didn't sleep that night. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, remembering every moment they dismissed me, laughed at me, used me. I thought of every wire transfer, every thank you that never came, every time I swallowed my pride and told myself, maybe next time will be different. It never was. By sunrise, I was ready. I called in a personal day at work, logged into my accounts, shut everything down. Electricity, disconnected. The credit card I added Dad as an authorized user on, cancelled. The joint bank account Mom used for emergencies, frozen. The Wi-Fi and family cell plan I'd been paying for, terminated. I was done being useful. By noon, my phone had 52 missed calls. First Mom. Then Jenna. Then Matt. Then Mom again. And Dad, he only calls like this when there's a financial emergency. Voicemails flooded in. Daniel, what is going on? The power's out. I can't work like this. Daniel, how dare you do this, on the day of all days? I'm trying to log into the account, and it says it's restricted. Daniel, your sister is in tears, call us back. And then came the final straw, a group text from Jenna. Okay, haha, we get it, you're mad, you made your little point, turn it back on already, don't ruin our week. I stared at the screen, smiling. Then I responded, I'm just getting started. That night, I showed up at their house. Yes, their house. The same house I secretly co-signed for 3 years ago when Dad's credit tanked and they were about to lose it. They never told Jenna that, of course. She still thought Daddy Dearest owned it. I knocked once, then walked in. The room was chaos. Candles lit everywhere. Mom yelling at Dad. Jenna crying on the stairs, phone in her lap. Matt pacing. When they saw me, the silence hit like a bomb. You, Dad growled, what do you think you're? I'm here, I said, calm as ice, to collect what's mine. Mom blinked. What are you talking about? I own this house, I said. Legally, it's in my name. You all thought I was just the guy paying the bills? Wrong. I've had the deed since 2021. You know, back when you called me crying about foreclosure and said you'd pay me back in a year. Never did. Jenna stood up. Wait, what are you talking about? I turned to her. Oh, you didn't know? That cake you cut into at my party? That happened in a house I own, using power I pay for, with guests I invited. Dad went pale. Daniel, let's talk about this calmly. No, I said, because you didn't care about calm when you humiliated me last night. Then I dropped a thick folder onto the table. What is this? Jenna asked. I smiled. Receipts, bank transfers, demo locks, utility bills, grocery lists, rent stubs, the wire I sent to Matt last year when his business was in trouble. Matt's eyes widened. Wait, how did you? Oh, don't worry, Matt, I said, you're not the only one who lied. Then I pulled out a USB drive. I found something interesting when I went into the family cloud account to cancel the shared data. See, Jenna never changed her access passwords, so all her files, synced. I plugged the drive into the TV. What are you doing? she snapped. The screen lit up. Video footage. Her, in a hotel room. With another man. Kissing him. Calling him baby. Matt went white. That's from 2 weeks ago, I said. Palm Springs, your engagement trip. Jenna gasped. You're spying on me. I was protecting my investment, I said coldly. But thanks for confirming it's you. Matt turned to her. You told me that was a girl's trip. Matt, no, don't, just don't. He stood up and walked out the front door without another word. Mom looked like she was about to faint. Dad buried his face in his hands. And Jenna? She just stood there, shaking. I paid for that trip, I said. I paid for your engagement dinner, I paid for the apartment you live in, and I paid for this house. I paused. Correction, I own this house. Then I delivered the final blow. I'm selling it. All their eyes shot up like I'd flipped the table. What? Mom whispered, her voice barely hanging on. You've got 30 days, I said flatly. The realtor comes Monday. Pack up. Call it an engagement gift, Jenna. You can't do this, Dad snapped, rising to his feet like he still had authority. This is our home. No, I said, steady and cold. It was my house. Now it's just a line on my investment portfolio, and it's bleeding. I'm done. I turned and walked out, the door slamming behind me like a period at the end of a sentence that had taken years to write. And right there, in that slam, everything shifted. The air felt different. Lighter. For the first time in over a decade, I wasn't their safety net. I was just free. I stepped into the night. My heart was pounding, not from panic, but power. Pure, electric, overdue power. The days that followed? Chaos. Calls. Texts. Voicemails. Mom. Jenna. Even Dad, who only ever called when a payment was past due or a favor needed doing. I didn't answer any of them. Instead, I booked a one-way flight to a quiet little coastal town. Found an Airbnb on a hill with ocean views and no one demanding anything. On that first morning, I sat on a sun-warmed porch with a real cup of coffee, no instant, no rush, and just breathed. For the first time in forever, there were no fires to put out. No emergencies with my name on the bill. No guilt. No obligations. Just peace. Day 3, the messages turned nasty. You're ruining our lives. You humiliated this family. How could you betray us like this after all we've done for you? I almost laughed. All they'd done for me? I was the one who paid the bills, picked up the pieces, financed their lives. But now I was the villain? I turned off my phone again. Day 5, Jenna's engagement fell apart. Matt's sister DM'd me. Hey, just wanted to say, Matt moved out. He's with me. He told us everything. That footage? You did the right thing. She's been cheating for months. Turns out Matt had his suspicions. My video just made them facts. A few days later, he messaged me himself. Thanks for the truth. I wish I'd seen it sooner. You're not the bad guy. I didn't respond. Didn't need to. Day 9, my realtor emailed. We've got 2 serious offers. Given market value, you're looking at a healthy 6-figure return. Shall I begin the 30-day notice process? I replied with one sentence. Send the notice. Day 11, Mom called from a hotel room. She was sobbing. Daniel, please, we don't have anywhere else to go. This isn't what families do. I let her talk. I didn't interrupt. I just listened to the same guilt, the same excuses, the same rewrites of history. Then I spoke. Mom, you stood there while Jenna cut into the cake I paid for. You laughed when Dad said my promotion didn't matter. You let them erase me, and said nothing. She sniffled. That was just a moment. No, I said. That was the moment. The moment I realized I wasn't your son, I was your ATM. A support beam. A silent investor in a family that never paid me back, in gratitude or love. She hung up. Day 15, my coworker Lexi texted. Just saw your video. You really turned that train wreck into a boss move. Right, I posted a video. Not the scandal footage. That stayed private. But I told my side. About the hijacked party. The cake. The years of silent giving. Blurred names. No drama. Just truth. I posted it to LinkedIn. Not for clout, just closure. Caption: this was supposed to be my celebration. I hosted. I paid. They erased me. So I erased the bill. It exploded. Over 300,000 views. People started reaching out, recruiters, execs, total strangers. Telling me I wasn't alone. Telling me I wasn't crazy. Day 17, Jenna tried to fix her image. Posted a reel with new captions. Fake smiles. Some quote about growth and healing. But the comments weren't buying it. Wait, isn't this the party hijacker? Where's Matt? She deleted the reel by the end of the day. Day 20, my grandmother called. She never got involved. Always stayed quiet on family drama. But her voice was trembling. I saw your post, Daniel. I always knew they treated you differently. I just didn't know it was this bad. It's okay, Grandma, I said. I'm okay now. No, she said. You're not just okay. You're free. And you deserve to be. Then she paused. I'm changing my will, she said. Just so you know. I nearly dropped the phone. Wait, what? I was going to split it evenly, she said, but after seeing how they act when they think no one's watching. I changed my mind. I hadn't asked for that. Hadn't expected it. But it hit me harder than I thought. Someone finally saw me. Not as a wallet. Not as a backup plan. But as a person. That night, sitting on the balcony and staring out at the ocean, I had a moment of clarity. I hadn't lost my family. I'd lost the illusion of one. What I gained was priceless: peace, boundaries, self-respect, and maybe, for the first time, a real chance to build a life that actually belonged to me. 3 weeks after shutting everything down, I sat in my new apartment. Quiet, modern, no family portraits hanging from the walls. And for the first time in my adult life, I let myself breathe. It was the first place I'd ever lived that didn't carry someone else's chaos. No siblings crashing on the couch. No parents calling about overdue bills. No last-minute texts from Jenna asking for a girls' trip fund. It was just mine. And it felt unreal. I used to think family was sacred, that no matter how bad things got, blood would always pull us back together. But the truth? Blood doesn't bind, behavior does. And once I stopped bleeding for them, they disappeared. Not because they understood, but because their power over me was gone. I wasn't useful anymore. And that had always been their measure of love. That week, I got a call from my old manager. We're still recovering from your party, he joked. What happened? I told him the truth. Not the full meltdown, but enough. My family hijacked the night, I said. I just decided not to let it slide. He laughed. Honestly, people haven't stopped talking about it. Some are saying you went nuclear. I didn't go nuclear, I replied. I just finally lit the match they kept handing me. There was a pause. Well, congrats again, whatever you did, it woke people up. The execs are noticing you. Funny, isn't it? The promotion they mocked. The party they ruined. It was turning heads now, because I finally showed I had a spine. Turns out, setting boundaries is more powerful than begging for approval. As for the house? Sold in 28 days. The new owners moved in last weekend. I didn't tell anyone, I just let it happen. My parents? They're renting a 2-bedroom condo on the other side of town. Jenna? She's back at mom's. Sleeping in her childhood room. No Matt, no job. No wedding hashtag to chase. And you know what? I don't feel bad. Not one bit. Because when people call you selfish for not letting them exploit you, what they really mean is, I liked it better when you had no boundaries. I was at a coffee shop the other day, the same one I used to pass on my way to my parents' house. A woman recognized me. You're the guy from the LinkedIn post, right? The one about the family party? I nodded. She smiled. Just wanted to say thank you. That post made me walk away from my toxic brother. It's the first peaceful week I've had in years. She left with her coffee and didn't say anything else. But I sat there, stunned. For the first time ever, my story wasn't just about survival. It was a signal, to everyone who's tired of being the emotional or financial punching bag for people who call it love. Jenna once told me I'd regret turning my back on the family. She said, "You'll come crawling back when you're alone." But here's what she doesn't get. Alone isn't the worst thing you can be. Used is. Manipulated is. Gaslit is. Expected to smile while people rob your joy and call it tradition? That's what I walked away from. And in return, I got something I never thought I'd have. A full night's sleep. A clean inbox. A life that's mine. So here's what I've learned. If your family only calls when they need something, that's not family. If they laugh at your wins, sabotage your joy, and guilt you for having limits, that's not love. And if your success makes them bitter instead of proud, you don't owe them a damn thing. Not money. Not peace offerings. Not forgiveness. You owe yourself freedom. The next time someone calls you selfish for choosing yourself, smile and say, "You're right."